Every day, thousands of pounds of food arrive at Share Food program in Philadelphia. Within hours, the products are separated and sent to various food pantries in the region.
In our box today, we've got celery, cantaloupe, onions, potatoes.
That's Share Food Executive Director George Madison. He says the need for food in the Delaware Valley has more than doubled since the pandemic.
We're serving about 1 million people a month in our region who are food insecure.
The amount of food that the federal government sends Share Food and other food banks like it are based on census numbers. And yet, just 55% of Philadelphian households have filled out the 2020 census. Madison is concerned about the potential consequences of an undercount.
So for the individual family that's struggling right now, if there's an undercount in the census, that means that we're going to have less resources at Share Food program for us to be able to give out to that family.
Don't be afraid to be counted.
Mayor Jim Kenney created the Philly Counts 2020 office in January of 2019. The goal was to make sure Philly was properly counted. Kenney put Stephanie Reed in charge and gave the 12-person team $1.3 million. The team engaged elected officials, community leaders, clergy, and trained 8,000 volunteers.
That program was aimed at training trusted messengers all over the city who could talk to people about the census and why it mattered.
In addition, the city partnered with a few philanthropies to give away $783,000 in grants to help get the census word out in the community. The grants, ranging from $500 to $25,000, went to more than 80 community groups.
Right away in March we stood up a phone banking operation.
The 2020 census survey came out mid-March, just as COVID-19 paralyzed the city. The responses lagged.
People were experiencing extreme stress and even trauma as their lives were being completely upended, and that the last thing they were thinking about doing at the end of the day was completing a government form.
Philly Counts' budget has gone mostly to salaries, according to Reed. 10% went to advertising and 18% went to materials and technology.
Was this a waste of $1.3 million?
No, absolutely not.
Reed went on to say that Philly is doing better than other cities with similar poverty rates. She pointed to Detroit with a 50% census response rate and Newark with a 49% rate. Baltimore and Chicago have slightly better rates than Philly. Philly Counts 2020 never set an official goal for a response rate.
We'd like to get to where we were in 2010.
That was 62.4%. In the meantime, Madison and his team are busy pushing out food boxes to groups and food pantries. He's hoping they can keep doing the same for the next decade.
We need people to raise their voices and be heard.
For the investigators, I'm Claudia Vargas, NBC10 News.
A judge has extended the deadline until October 31st for people to fill out the census and for census workers to follow up with those who have not responded.
You can see how your area is doing with its census response by going to NBC10.com/census. You'll also find information on how to complete the census.